I just wanted to go live real quick, just as these thoughts are just in my mind right now. It is really sad to see what's been going on in terms of like how the media is covering Google. Well, this is partly Google's fault when it comes to Google Stadia. Google, for some reason, they have so much money, and yet they're not able to take a story and have it work towards them. Like I feel like Apple. I'm not a big fan of Apple, but they can take anything and turn it around and make it as if it's a good thing. Like Apple does a lot of shady stuff, but you rarely hear that being spoken about. On a day to day. Like Apple does whatever they want to, and essentially it's like nobody says anything. Nobody bats an eye at what Apple does. And since Google Stadia came out, I'm not gonna lie. When Google Stadia first came out, I was like, this is not gonna be good. I was like, Google, just give up. Like, don't do this. Don't go into gaming. That was my message. That was how I saw it. Like Google, this is not gonna work. You're gonna charge people for a service, and you're gonna make them pay full price for the games and things like that. That's when it first came out. But I was gifted Google Stadia a couple months ago, and let me tell you, it reignited my love for gaming. A love that I wasn't sure that I would ever get back. And my example for me is like my friend, he has a PS4 and he has Call of Duty. The thing is, that's the only game that he has on his PS4 because that game takes up so much space. And cloud gaming takes care of that. That's one thing I did not miss about gaming. I remember in the latter days of gaming, I would go and get my Call of Duty game, get ready to play. Next thing you know, I have to download all these updates. And it's like midnight, it's like 1 in the morning now, still downloading updates. And I'm tired and I'm getting ready to go to bed because I have to work tomorrow. So when you don't have all the time in the world, when you don't have all the time to wait for games to update, to download, and all that, Google Stadia comes in and you don't have to worry about that. As long as you have a good internet connection, most of us play at home anyway. And if your job or wherever that you do spend time has a good internet connection, which I believe the world's going to go towards faster internet connections as we go along, and with the expansion of 5G as well, we're gonna have a fast internet connection wherever we go. I'm on Verizon. I have 5G and I have unlimited data, which means if I'm on the go and I want a game, I can do that. I was playing Cyberpunk 2077 in my car on my phone. That's beautiful. You can't do that on a Nintendo Switch. You can't do that with anything else. So there's so many benefits to Google Stadia. Google Stadia is beautiful. Like I'm so happy. I've been playing a lot of Immortals Phoenix Rising. So with Google Stadia, in addition to Ubisoft Plus, I have like a ton of games that I can play. I have Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, and tons of other games that I haven't gotten into yet. I mainly got that subscription for Immortals Phoenix Rising, and that game plays beautifully on there. And again, I can play on my laptop, I can play on my TV, I can play on my phone, and that's the beautiful versatility of it. But what is so sad is how Google is handling how the media is spinning this. Like they should do a little bit better. The saddest part about this that I really cannot excuse them for is how they fired, their developers. Like they congratulated their developers and then they fired them, their first party studios. They're getting a lot of flack for that. The way they handled that was just horrible. That I cannot excuse. Like, why did they have to do that? They could have told those people and given them some time so that they could have made plans, maybe looked for other jobs and things like that. That was really sad. But because they closed their first party studios, it does not mean that it's the end of Stadia exclusives. As we can see, we have Pixel Junk, I believe Raiders. We have Pixel Junk Raiders coming, and that's a Stadia exclusive. It's gonna be a Stadia Pro game, which means if you have Stadia Pro, that game is yours to play. And that game is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful looking game. And it's also going to use a Stadia exclusive feature, State Share, which means you can get to a place in the game and somebody can jump in and start playing from where you left off. And that's a feature that no other system has. So Google Stadia has a bright future ahead of it. But due to Google's history of having, let go of a lot of the things that they started. For example, the two biggest examples I can think of for me would be Google Plus and Google Hangouts. They started those; they were beautiful. I loved Google Hangouts. Like Google Hangouts was so good that I would invite everybody to it. I thought it was going to be the iMessage killer if Google wanted it to be. If Google wanted it to be, but it seems like they did not want it to be. They tried Google Allo, which like why did you do that? But Google Plus as well, powerful social media. If Google had really cared, they could have kept it going. Like especially if you're into technology, that was such a technology centric, like focused social media platform that I loved it. Had a Moto X community on there where we were just communicating, and there's a bunch of different communities on there that was just so beautiful. I loved it. At one time I was spending more time on Google Plus than I was spending on Facebook. So Google has had some really good things, but for some reason they just don't stick with them. But I have a feeling that they are going to stick with this, and this is the perfect time for them to stick with it. As we have the PS5 shortages, we have the issues going on with the controllers. Hopefully, Google can get their own controllers. Hopefully, the controller, it's not the same manufacturer that's making the analogs on this controller. Maybe they have their own. That way, these analogs are gonna last. We'll see how these controllers go. But they have that issue with the PS5 controllers right now already. Um, with the Joy Drift, I believe it's called. But yeah, with the shortages of the systems, with the fact that some of the games have been working really well on Google Stadia, like Cyberpunk 2077, for instance, that's beautiful. Again, they closed their first party studio, so people think that they're dead. But the reason why they did this is because right now, in order to develop your own game, it's mad expensive. It's really, really expensive, especially because of COVID. It's expensive. So rather than spend all that money trying to make their own games, they can have other people develop games for them. And I think that's a smart decision. Again, we got Pixel Raiders coming, and it's gonna be a state exclusive. And then the other thing, an article that you see a lot of people posting. Oh, the what's that game called? Journey to the Savage Planet. So that game apparently was broken upon release on Stadia, and people already made videos about how it's broken, and Google already fired the people that could have fixed it. But then next thing you know, the next day the game was patched. But all those videos saying that that Google fired the people that could have fixed the game. Those videos are still there. I'm not seeing any people making videos. Oh, yeah, they did fire the people that could have fixed it, but somehow Google wound up fixing it anyway. So these journalists, these people that are covering the games, they're doing Google a huge disservice. Why don't we support Google for once? Let's give them a chance because it's up to us. Like we can actually change this around. And within Google Stadia right now, we have a beautiful community. Like the people in Stadia, oh my god, like they're gonna be the core of what keeps Stadia going. And Google needs to treat them well. Google needs to like bow to them. And I think Google is doing that in a lot of ways. Like Google Stadia has had a lot of sales. Google Stadia got a lot of flack for having games more expensive, but they've been having a ton of sales. Like games really cheap. Right now Borderlands 3 is only $20. And a lot of lower craft games, like some of them are under $5. So there's a lot of games that you can get for really cheap. And again, all the pro games that are on Google Stadia, once you claim them, you get them. You can keep them forever. Even if you cancel Stadia Pro and you come back, you keep those games. And again, the games that are there right now are awesome. And you can try Google Stadia for free, no cost whatsoever. And you don't even need to have this controller or anything. Just use whatever you already have, and you can play Destiny 2 for free. On Stadia Pro, Crata is also free as well, and you can create your own thing on there, and it's beautiful. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of good things going on for Google Stadia right now, but the way the media is portraying it, it's as if it's all bad. And let's talk about Google being sued, like Google Stadia being sued for not giving people the correct, for saying that games were going to be at 4K. Again, games being at 4K is not up to Google. It's the developers that make the game. They need to make it so that the game will be 4K. And Google was saying up to 4K. And other companies like Sony and Xbox, they have. Hey Sandra, how you doing? Other companies like they have been targeted and sued for making games and for saying that they were going to get a game at a certain resolution but never got it there, and they've been taken to court and everything like that. So why is it so when this is happening to Google that all of a sudden it's a story, it's the death of Google? Why do people want Google Stadia to die so much? I believe Google Stadia is going to be the top competitor, and they're going to take away. They're gonna win. I believe that they're going to win. If they don't win, it's only because Google doesn't want to win. If Google truly wants to win, with this. If they really want to, take charge and be the leader in cloud gaming, which I believe is the future, because it can really, literally, gaming can bring everybody together. And there is no cost to get on this. Like, you can literally right now start playing Destiny 2 on Google Stadia. All you need is an internet connection. You don't need to buy a $500 system. You don't have to download the game. You never have to download any updates at all. It's just so smooth. And so what if not every game is 4K? Eventually, those games will get there, and there are some games that are 4K, but other games are still don't reach that sometimes. Other platforms still don't reach that sometimes, and we're still getting exclusives. We're still getting games, and Google clearly cares about this platform. So it's sad that Google doesn't have the media on their side, and every change that they get, they just jump on Google Stadia's neck, and that sucks because who's gonna pay for that? It's us, it's the gamers. There's a lot of people like me that were out of the gaming industry for a while, but then Google Stadia showed up with how it works, and we're right back in there. So that's really my video for today, man. Like there are a lot of articles, a lot of videos coming out saying that Google Stadia is dead. But me, myself, and the people that I know that are using Google Stadia, we love it and we don't want it to die. And I want to encourage you, if you feel compelled to make a video to talk about it, to talk about the benefits of Stadia, and to talk about why you want Stadia to survive, then come on YouTube and let your voice be heard. Because right now we have a lot of naysayers, and let's build up this community. One of the downsides of Google Stadia being so new, and the fact that the media, wants to talk about it as if it's bad, is that the community, some people might leave, they might be afraid, and we need the player base to keep going up. So again, you can try Google Stadia for free. You don't have to pay anything, and you can start playing Destiny 2 for free. So try it out with Destiny 2 cost free. And if you would like to, I'm gonna put my link in the description below. If you want to sign up for Stadia Pro, you get 2 months free by using my link. All right. So yeah, I'll post that in the on the comment section of this video once it's uploaded, and join me. Add me. We can play some Destiny 2. We can play some Journey of the Savage Planet. We could play some Dead by Daylight. I heard that game is really good. I haven't started it yet. But the games are coming. The what Google's been doing with Google Stadia for me has been beautiful, and I've been loving it. And low key, I just want to play games all the time now. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that Google is doing this. So yeah, Sandra, I'm not sure if you're a gamer, but if you've gamed before and you did not want to game because of whatever reason, maybe systems are too expensive, don't have the time to download, wait for updates, Google Stadia is here, you know, and it's beautiful. And then I didn't even mention as well, Google Stadia makes streaming a lot easier. So if you've been wanting to maybe stream video games, you can do that. Literally just one click of a button. You don't need any extra software. This has been really beautifully streamlined. I cannot tell. Like there's so many benefits to this, but for some reason, people just want to focus on the negatives. Yeah, I mean, I was away from gaming for a few years as well, and I did not think I'd be getting back into it. But with how accessible this is, again, you can play with the controller on your laptop, TV. I have this Razer Kishi here. This is you can find this at a pretty good price if at Walmart if they still have them. It was a bundle. You would get this Razer Kishi, and you would get this the wireless headset, the Razer Hammerheads, and these you can essentially get lower latency with the gaming mode with these. So you get this and you get this. They were on sale normally for like 140, then they went down to like 70, then they went down to like 45 or something like that. But my phone goes in the middle of this. There's an iOS version and an Android version, and all those games that I talked about, like Immortals, Phoenix Rising, Cyberpunk, Borderlands 3, any game on Assassin's Creed, any game on Google Stadia's library, you can play it directly on your phone with this. So like, there's so many different ways to play. It makes it so accessible. If the TV's taken up, just put your phone in the middle of this, or just take your cable, plug your phone with this, and you can just play. Like why would so many people hate on this? But I think in the time that we live in a time of cancel culture, people just love to hate on things. And so as the people, we have to speak up and we have to, help Google out this time. Um, I don't want to let Stadia die. So yeah. Anybody have any questions or anything before I head get out of here. I'm about to go play. I think I'm gonna go play Destiny 2, or I might try out. Little Nightmares. I've never tried out that game either, but people have been raving about it, so I might check that one out as well. And another game that's really fun too on there is it's also a pro game. It's called Enter the Gungeon, and it just the music just catches you right away, and it's just mad. It's just loads of fun. So let's see what is this. Ooh, there's filters on there. I haven't gone live in a long time, y'all, but I definitely will be going live more often for sure. Yeah, it's good to see you too, and you're welcome. I hope I did this on the right channel. All right, y'all. Peace.